Well, thank you very much for staying with us, and good afternoon once again. Well, we'll be talking about Brics-related issues right here on our program. But before we do that, the country has been experiencing a lot of illegally imported goods, and when they flood the market, they tend to urge out businesses. And the clothing and textile industry has bled about 96,000 jobs. So let's take a look at an insert that has been prepared to try and set the pace concerning this discussion. Let's take a look. China has been accused of flooding the local markets with cheap imported goods. This has a potential to kill local businesses as the goods are sold at the lowest prices. A report by Nedlec says importers use fraudulent amounts on import documents to avoid the 40% import duty on clothing products. In a crime bust conducted by the South African officials, goods worth millions of rands are confiscated at the entry points and inland where they make it to the local market. On one hand, according to the South African Revenue Services SARS, the textiles, clothing, leather and footwear sector has so far bled 246,000 jobs in the manufacturing industry because of cheap and illegal imports. On the other hand, however, Trade and Industry Minister Rob Davis said government had invested 3.5 billion rand to stabilize the clothing sector, securing 65,000 jobs and creating thousands more. The South African Clothing and Textile Workers Union, SACTU, has raised a concern with SARS to highlight the negative impact of a lack of enforcement and inspection of imported goods at South Africa's customs points. SACTU says illegal imports cost the fiscus at least 3 billion rand in unpaid import taxes on Chinese imports in 1 year alone. According to a report by Baron, a promotional clothing organization operating across Africa, Chinese customs data from 2014 indicates that in 2014 China exported $1.71 billion worth of garments to South Africa. Yet South African customs data shows only $945 million worth of garments recorded. The report says somehow imported clothing to the value of $767 million is missing from the South African customs data. Illegal clothing and goods trafficking also comes with a hefty price tag. In just 72 days between the 1st of January and the 14th of March this year, customs made 320 busts of goods worth over 260 million rand. The SARS Tactical Intervention Unit made a further 23 busts of 23 million rand. According to Baron, those are just the consignments that are discovered. It says there are many more that enter the country undetected or get in under circumstances such as under invoicing, false declaration of goods, or through third-party countries that have lower duty tariff access to South Africa. According to Baron, clothing and textiles that make their way into the market using any of these methods unsurprisingly have a massive impact on local clothing and textile manufacturers and resellers because of the illegal imports are typically sold at a lower price and undercut the earning power of the local industry. SACTU researchers, Epel and Flock, have labeled customs fraud a form of economic sabotage committed by the private sector, in which duties on imported goods are illegally avoided by engaging in activities that evade tariffs or customs rules. So it remains to be seen after the BRICS summit if things change, or will it be business as usual, as this problem is costing South African businesses dearly.